Hi there, welcome to another episode of Tiny Chess Instance. So this was from a weekly Blitz tournament. I was actually doing really well in it, but unfortunately prior to this game, psychologically I was on a bad foot here. I was actually in a great position potentially to win the tournament, but I just lost 3 games in a row, and my opponent here is rated over 2500, like about 2520, and he's got a funny nickname as well. Jesus Frankenstein is one of the funniest nicknames on the site, but he's a very, very dangerous player. At least he's won many tournaments. I played knight e5, and after king b1, I thought this was clever, but f4, and actually I'm losing material. Oh dear. Anyway, I thought I'd play on rook ac8, f takes, d takes, and he takes on c4, rook takes c4. Can I possibly generate any counterplay? Well, I double rooks at least. That Sicilian file, this is c file, is very useful. Knight d5, we have queen c5, knight takes, e takes, and I thought I'd try my luck here to get some chances with the form pawn, because as we know, form pawns are very dangerous. So I'm trying to get a form pawn strategy in place. He takes here, b takes, rook c1, I play rook c6, b3, and then lo and behold I do have a kind of fawny pawn almost. If there was a pawn on c2 this would be an official form pawn, but there is frontal pressure on this pawn. The funny thing about this position, so psychologically I wasn't really in a great place, as far as my recent results in this tournament. He plays queen d5, and I'm thinking, actually, I do have some interesting options here. Now, if I give you 5 seconds to pause the video, can you see what black can do here? But just bear in mind this situation, just to simulate maybe a real game. It's good to sometimes simulate a real online game or a real over-the-board game. In order to carry out that simulation, let's not underestimate a real consideration, which I would call the weight of psychological kind of negativity that might have built up. So this could have been, you may have lost 1 or 2 games before, maybe in over the board or online in the same tournament, and your opponent now is actually higher rated than your previous opponent. So there's a weight of kind of negativity. But as Fischer says, he doesn't believe in psychology, he believes in good moves. Maybe we can apply that we want to play good moves and recognise the opponent when they play bad moves, which have downsides, which can bring out their downfall. Is the move queen d5 such a move? Because it seems to be a very natural move to simplify the position. So what would you play here? Given that psychology, try and simulate the psychology first, but then focus scientifically on the move. Just to get a practice run, because this might sometimes happen to you. You might have lost a few games in a row, and now you play a much higher rated opponent. Let's simulate the psychology. So what would you play here with black? There's 10 points for one move and 100 points for another. Okay. The move I should have played is actually c2 check. Believe it or not, c2 check. This is actually a really crushing move. The queen is on the light square. It means it's not really influencing these dark squares here. If the king goes here, we have queen c3 checkmate. Yeah. If the rook takes, we're just taking here and then queen c1 checkmate. Yep. If king b2, I hope you've seen this, queen c3 check, and we're playing rook a6 checkmate. It's all working beautifully. It's actually literally a mate in 4. But the computers don't care if they've just lost. They could have lost like 1,000 games before. They don't care if the opponent's like rated 3,900 super GM, GM, super GM. If it's displayed on the screen, this is the person you're going to lose to, is the implication. You're going to lose because of the weight of psychological negativity that has been brought to you before this position. But let's go back. Fischer says, he doesn't believe in psychology. So there's a whole weight of negative psychology but you do still want to take down your opponent based on maybe sometimes their move does cause their downfall. Queen d5, you know, it did neglect things. It did neglect this c3 square. Thankfully, I found another move which is worth 10 points. Not 100 points, it's worth 10 points. It threatens a checkmate. And it so happens here that actually, after rook c2, I was able to force a perpetual situation. Queen f1. Now, I'm not moving the pawn forward here because king b2, but in fact, perpetually threatening queen b2. And he didn't take the plunge with rook takes c3 or anything. He just accepted this is a draw by repetition. And I got a draw at least from it. And I did actually win this weekly blitz, even after this missed opportunity. I'd accumulated enough points from earlier anyway, so I was very happy with the tournament. But yeah, there's some interesting highlights I wanted to point out to you guys. I think it's instructive, but not in a scientific manner. You know, a lot of videos on YouTube, they don't really emphasize the weight of negative psychology, which could build up both before the game and on the screen. You know, if on the screen all of a sudden you're playing GM 3200, well, they still play moves which could have downsides. So just remember that. You know, moves, you're supposed to be their assassin, not worshipping them during the game. It doesn't matter if they've written 10 million books. Doesn't matter. Doesn't even matter if they're material up. You know, their move could cause their downfall. Just remember that, guys. Their move could cause their downfall. This was a harsh lesson to look at this after and see I missed this forced checkmate. C2 check. It's so cute as well. The thing is, it is really super cute. C2. Okay, I hope you get something from this for your own balance of the psychology versus just look at the moves. Okay. And by the way, if you want to sharpen your tactical ability, I happen to have a course. Check out Kingscrusher TV/chess tactics. It's got loads of rave reviews. I'm really pleased with it. It's one of the most popular courses now at Udemy. Just within weeks, it's become one of the most popular. There's also a pawn structure course, which doesn't have so many comments. I think tactics are much more fun. And there's a London system course, Kingscrusher TV, London system. There's Kingscrusher TV/opening tango. And if you want to invite me for a game, just Kingscrusher TV, register at Chess World, and I'll be able to invite you for a game soon after at 5 Days a Move, where you can practice your tactics and even, you know, use analysis board, etc. to help. If you're just starting up, especially, that's very handy. So here, yeah, don't get down. There could be a huge weight of responsibility of negative, you know, stuff building up. Don't worry about it. Just the moves. Focus on the moves sometimes. Excellent. Hope you got something from this. Thanks very much.